I'm Christian Montoya, and I am a retired Navy veteran, and I currently volunteer at an African mission ministry.
Sir?
And my name is William Montoya. I'm also a retired Navy veteran, 23 years, and been doing a lot of things since I got out in 2012. But right now, I currently and have been working for the last 10 years on and off with Arnold Air Force Base.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, first of all, thank y'all for your service. That's quite amazing having a military family like it. How long y'all been married?
Next year will be 30.
Yeah.
30 years.
Yeah, almost.
Okay, we got to stop everything and ask what's the secret.
Forgiveness.
Forgive.
Quick to forgive.
Wow. See, you don't hear about it nowadays. Marriage is actually lasting a long time. It starts to get a little bit rough, a little heavy, and people just want to go ahead and go for the divorce, which sometimes, it might be needed if you got any type of abuse going on, stuff like that. But seems like people want to rush to that divorce state because they're no longer feeling it or things like that. So 30 years marriage is pretty amazing.
We've had some heavy years, but
Oh, yeah,
Well,
definitely.
of course. And what we're talking about today had to been a struggle, and probably an amazing struggle. And so that's what we're going to get into. Christian, tell me a little bit about your background as far as, where you were raised, where you were born, stuff like that. Just a little real quick.
Born in Cape May, New Jersey, raised in upstate New York near Lake Ontario, and I grew up learning to sail across Lake Ontario to Canada. And so that's where that French comes in there. And joined the Navy after an attempt at being a midshipman at the Merchant Marine Academy. But I figured I didn't want to pay $30,000 a year to be treated like a boot camper. So
I don't blame you.
So I ended up enlisting, and it was the best decision I ever made. That was really kind of the first decision that I really felt like I made for myself, and it was going to be whatever I put into it.
And, sir, tell us a little bit about your background, a little bit of your past.
So, I was born and raised in Southern California, a place called San Gabriel Valley. Lived there a large part of my life. My dad passed when I was 11, but we were generally moving in that same area down there. And my mom moved us to a better neighborhood and grew up in a really nice middle-class place called Glendora, and where I played in rock bands and did a lot of that good stuff as a drummer, a musician.
He played in heavy metal bands in Hollywood.
Into rock and roll and playing that. And then when I graduated from high school, I decided I wanted to go to automotive trade school. So I went to Arizona for a year to go to Arizona Automotive Trade Institute there and got my degree, or whatever you want to call it, my certificate from them, and went back and worked in the car field for a couple of years, and then went back to construction. When I got about 23, I decided I needed to do something bigger and better, and I decided to join the Navy, and I did that in '89.
So y'all ended up meeting in 1994, right?
96.
96, I'm sorry, 1996, met in the Navy. How long did y'all date before you realized, okay, this is what we want to do?
I think it's about a year.
Yeah, I would say that's fair, a year.
Yeah. And where'd y'all get married?
Nevada.
Nevada.
We had
Bullhead City.
Bullhead City, Arizona is technically it. We played with the idea of going to Vegas and getting married by Elvis, but Elvis was like $300 and we had $500 for the whole thing. So we went to Laughlin and did a weekend there and got married.
Pastor picked us up in a limo and drove us across the border.
Wow.
Got married in Bullhead City.
We have 3 adult kids. We have Aaron and Matthias and Jordan, and they're all completely different. My oldest works with your wife at Enable Comp.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so they knew each other when this accident happened, and they kind of talked to each other while this was going on.
I didn't know that. Boy, small world. Mm-hmm. Small world. In your other ones?
Matthias is an advanced EMT, and he is also in the Air National Guard. He just finished his degree and is going to put in an officer package, and he's been in he was in Tennessee National Guard during COVID, so he was one of those that was going around and doing the testing and the shooting. Shots.
He's been married for 2 years now, too.
Yeah, his wife, Brianna, is absolutely adorable.
And the youngest?
Youngest is now 22, and she is a dog groomer here in town in Tullahoma at Absolute Perfection, and she absolutely would love to work with nothing but dogs.
And that's Jordan.
A family full of servers, EMT and
Yeah.
Navy and all that.
They're all thespians, too.
That yeah.
Yeah, a lot of acting, and we like to laugh.
Yes.
And love to act, and my oldest daughter and son can sing just as well and play just as well. My youngest daughter and I should be behind the computer.
Let's get a little bit let up now. But when the accident occurred, what were you doing? Were you retired during that time period, or?
I actually was working I was the director of Access Hope, which is a suicide and crisis hotline here in the local area. And the parent organization is the Family Counseling Center of Middle Tennessee, which is based in Manchester. And my office was here in Tullahoma at the Henry Center. And I was on my way from there to a meeting with my boss and heading down Lincoln Street, just a straight shot. And that's the last thing I remember.
We'll get into that here in just a
Yeah.
little bit because I want to go through kind of all of that. So you were working, you were going.
Yeah.
Where were you when this?
I was at the house. I had a police officer come up to the door and inform me what was going on.
Let's go to that morning. Mm-hmm. We'll go ahead and jump right into it. You were getting ready to go to
A meeting.
a
Yeah.
meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and you were heading down Lincoln Street. Before we go any further, do you ever pass that way, go down that way, and have any recollections?
No, I still don't remember the accident at all, except for what I've been told. And I don't have any problem driving, no. Now, because I was told it was a red Ram pickup truck pulling a tractor, I see Ram trucks and I'm like, not going to ever get one of those.
Yeah.
But that's really, I love to drive. In fact, one of the things I do now is I take folks from my church to medical appointments in Nashville because I don't like to drive in Nashville. And I grew up driving in this city, so it doesn't bother me a bit.
So when you go by that area, you don't?
I know it was kind of near, was it the Wesley Heights Church?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, well, the angels must have been sitting right there. So thanks to that congregation for being faithful and having those angels of protection, because I shouldn't have walked away from that.
Yeah. You head out. Get us to the point to where you leave your house, mm-hmm. to the point to where you remember the last thing you remember.
Just going into work. The office is no longer at the Henry Center, which is why I can tell you that it was at the Henry Center, because usually a crisis hotline location is kept confidential.
For good reason.
For safety reasons. But at that point, my office was in the Henry Center, and just going in, got my volunteers that answer the phones, working on my plan for fundraising and what I had going for the meeting with that weekly meeting with my boss. And just locked up, said, I'll be back. Got in my car and headed down. I remember going through the light at Jackson and Lincoln, and I know I was headed toward Manchester. And I don't remember seeing the other vehicle coming. I don't remember being hit. I remember, the first thing I remember was actually you. And because you were the one that came up to the car, I think. And
oh, you do remember that?
I do. I remember, I don't remember exactly what you said, but it was something to like, hey, hang on, we're going to get you out of here. And I don't know if you put a jacket over me. Somebody did. And I think I said something like, well, I'll be right here.
You just gave my testimony.
Okay.
That's why whenever you mention that you like to laugh and everything, that is obvious because you were making light out of a situation that I'll go ahead and do my part. Mm-hmm. Whenever I saw you, I was the officer that worked the whole wreck. And whenever I saw you from a distance, I didn't think you were dead. I knew you were dead.
I remember you telling me, and it still gives me chills.
I hate, I don't want to, scare you or anything.
No.
I just want you to understand. I've worked so many of these wrecks that were fatalities and serious accidents. There was no doubt in my mind this was a fatal wreck. And when I walked up to you, I said something. I don't remember if it was hello.
I don't think it was to me, or I don't know.
I think it was to you, but
Okay.
it was just to check, just to satisfy, okay, I'm going
Check
to...
that box.
Yeah. And when you actually responded back to me, it was like seeing a ghost.
Wow.
I sat back. I took a step back. How am I having a conversation? How's this? First of all, how is she even alive? Second, how is she even conscious enough to talk to me right now?
Yeah, I don't think I realized what had happened, or maybe that I realized, okay, there's been an accident, so hold tight. And
Right.
I was medical in the military, and mass casualty was part of my training, so I'm generally not a panicky person.
But I think there would be nobody that would give you any negativity if this was a time that you needed to be panicky or nervous.
And I
but you were
wasn't.
extremely,
It was like we're sitting right now. That's exactly how I was feeling. Like, okay.
For everybody watching and listening, I want people to understand this vehicle. What kind of vehicle was it?
It was a Chrysler minivan.
It was dark gray, if I remember, or
was black.
Black. Okay,
Yeah.
black. This thing was chewed up like it just went through one of the CFC
Yeah.
machines, and your little face was just peeking out right there. You had to be cut out. Do you remember how long it took you to be cut out by the fire
Now,
department?
I know you or someone put a jacket over me so that the glass wouldn't hit me when they said, we're going to cut you out. And I'm like, okay.
That would be our fire department. We
Yeah.
have one of the best fire departments in the world. That would be them.
I met Tom and got the chance to thank him.
Yeah. We've got an excellent fire department here. But I remember, and I'll just go ahead and reiterate you, as I was walking away from you, I don't remember if I said, nobody's going to leave you, or I'll be right back, or something. That's when you said, I'll be right here.
And that's totally what I would do, is make a joke.
I think that is the part of the story that amazes me the most. Besides the fact that you're dead, okay? The fact that you're joking now. You're making like, I'll be right here. You're having to get cut out of this
Mess.
that took forever. You're bleeding, and you're completely stuck, and you're sitting here telling me, I'll be right here. I'm supposed to be the one comforting you in this moment.
Oh, you did. You did. You were sweet.
Yeah, I did a great job.
You were awesome.
I'm the one sitting there, like, yeah, So anyway, you get cut out. Can you go through telling me how this worked? Do you remember getting cut out?
I remember hearing the glass shatter and feeling like a little vibration. It was kind of in and out. I remember bits and pieces. And I remember when the EMTs were, I think it was the EMTs, unloading me. And there was a female EMT. I still don't know her name, but she was amazing. And she was holding my arm. I had an open, my elbow was shattered, and it had an open fracture in my arm. And she was holding it, and I think she was more worried than I was at the time. I had a peace the entire time, and I was fully confident in everybody being able to do their jobs. And everybody was just so professional and amazing, and I'm very, very, very grateful. I remember, I know I was taken to Hearton, but I don't remember what happened or any of the exams there. I remember being put in an ambulance, taken to Vanderbilt Trauma, but I don't remember the trip. And then I remember being in the hallway at Vanderbilt, and one of the doctors was stitching up and pulling glass out of my head and stitches over my eye. Learned after the fact that I had 2 orbital fractures. I have an implant under my eye now. They had to reconstruct my elbow. I had pins and screws. And then I had this really heavy cast from shoulder to wrist for a while. And then I had this really cool, like, I thought I looked like a transformer. That's one of the pictures I sent you. I had this really, really pretty blue brace that I had on for a while. And a couple surgeries, well, 3 surgeries to fix that up. And I remember the trauma surgeon at Vanderbilt saying that he got to use my case at a conference as an example of a difficult case. Like, well, you're welcome. Glad to help.
Well, we've also used you at the police department.
Yeah.
Because, one thing that offers, first of all, our officers are great. They will do any job that comes to them. But if you was to sit down and have a non-public talk with them, a lot of them will tell you they hate doing DUI investigations.
They're so long.
They're so long, they're so complicated, and I mean, it's just so much that you have to do during these investigations that they would rather just take an all-day beating than have to do a lot of the paperwork and stuff that's involved in DUIs. Now, they'll do them, and they'll do them great, absolutely outstanding, but they
would
don't.
rather not.
They are miserable a lot of the time while they're doing that. So I like to bring you on just so people can see, the impact of,
Totally worth it.
keep doing what you're. So we definitely use you for that. So you weren't flown. You were driven to Nashville.
Right.
And how long were you in the hospital?
Just a couple of days. I know I was in the trauma ICU, and I remember waking up at one point and seeing my mother and sisters who had come in, and I'm like, how come they're here? It was just like, well, that's odd. They don't usually come all this way.
Are you not realizing the impact right now, or the?
I was not. I still had no idea the severity of what had happened. I hadn't spoken with you yet, and most of the details I know are from what you have told me and what my family has told me. I still do not. I just remember those little bits and pieces along the way, but I don't remember the impact. I don't remember seeing them coming. And so I was just like, okay, I've been in an accident. Let's, okay, we've got to call the insurance. Making the list in my head of all the things that need to get done. And I really did not realize how serious it was.
I don't think you realize how strong you are. We deal with less, much less all the time, and people freak out. And so I guess, again, that probably what makes it a little special is, your attitude towards it. Let's go to you. And
Sir.
so the crash, about how long was it after the crash occurred that you were notified?
I would say it was within probably about an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
I know
I'm
my
not
meeting was at
exactly
12,
sure.
so
I'm not exactly sure. I just remember the officer walking up, and I'm like,
Do you remember who the officer was?
no,
Okay.
but a big dude. Just big. I was looking up at him. But I thought it had to do with something else because of something that happened the other day. And I opened the door, and he informed me that she was in an accident and that she's conscious. I think at that time they had already had her at Hardin and said they were going to move her to Vanderbilt. I can't quite remember. But so I'm like, okay.
I think they told you that they were going to life flight me.
Yeah. Either life flight me and you ended up going in an ambulance. So, being a man of faith, I threw it straight up to God and like, I have no control over any of this.
Was the officer able to tell you how bad it was, or
Not
did he
really.
just?
He didn't give me a whole lot of detail. He just told me that she had been hardened and they're gonna transfer her, but she was alert and stable.
When did you first learn how serious this was?
Really, not until I got to the hospital.
And did you get Tullahoma or Nashville?
Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So, like I said, I threw it upstairs and just started praying for all the technicians, doctors, nurses, everybody that's involved.
Who was the first person to talk to you up in Nashville? Was it the doctor?
I think it was a nurse.
And what did she tell you?
Basically, what was going on with her. I had waited because being in the Navy and being in Navy medicine for 23 years and being on a rig myself, I was trained EMT on a rig for myself when I was in Camp Pendleton, and I know how everything works. And we weren't going to see her anytime soon, and I knew all that. So I gathered the kids, let them know what was going on, and then we went up together. Not immediately because I knew she was going to be in surgery. I knew this, that, and we'd just be sitting there waiting around. So we went at a convenient time the next morning, and that's when we got to see her for the first time.
When did you see the vehicle?
I want to say 2 days later.
It was already at the towing.
Yeah, it's right
place.
off the 55, one of the towing places there.
Sergeants?
Yeah, sergeants maybe.
What was your reaction to seeing the vehicle?
Well, when you first pull up to it, you see one side, and it looks just normal. And you look at the other side, and it does not look normal at all. It's just totally crushed. And there's, of course, all the bags had deployed, and we were just looking through it. We could barely get into the car to get anything. We were grabbing registrations, and I forgot to grab the plate. That's what I forgot to grab. And me and Jordan had gone, our youngest, and this is some kind of miracle.
Yeah, my quota was not full.
Yeah, not done yet.
What was your reaction when you first saw the car?
Like, ooh.
Yeah,
It
quite a
didn't
bit
seem
of
real.
pictures.
It didn't seem real.
When you first was able to see her in the hospital, what was the conversation like? I'm assuming she was conscious when you first got to see her.
Just soaking in that she's there, and taking a look, and I'm looking, and I'm like, oh wow.
When you first saw her,
It was troubling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
There
troubling.
were some tears. And, I think, okay, I have a broken arm. And,
Yeah, that was the one. That was.
I
the
know
thing
I
that
had
was
some
the most
glass.
obvious. And they talked about her orbitals and all that other good stuff, and she was pretty beat up. Yeah.
so the orbital fracture,
Yeah.
the cut on the head, that your
Some
arm,
glass in there. Yep.
your arm.
Open. Yeah, open,
what else?
shattered. That was it. My legs weren't
Yeah.
broken.
I figured she'd
The
have
car,
her femur would have
like-
broke.
It was like the car wrapped around me. I've never seen anything like that in any accident that I've ever seen.
I'm
It's
at all.
just-
I
yeah.
mean, I'm normally not speechless, but it just kind of hearing how y'all went through this is pretty. It's. I'm just kind of in awe of how y'all handle
The
it.
peace of God was
Yeah.
everywhere. That was instantaneous. Like when she was talking about it.
Yeah, definitely had to be a God thing.
Because he doesn't let anything happen without him
What
allowing it to happen.
What is when was it that you were first informed? And the program, we ain't gonna I'm not gonna mention any names.
Okay.
When is it that you were first informed that the person that hit you was under the influence of meth?
It was probably when I came in to give you, I don't know if it was a statement. It it was when I came in and talked to you about the case to get my impact statement, maybe. And you told me about that person and that he had an open container of beer in the car, and he admitted to doing a hit of meth before driving.
Do you remember what the cause of the accident was determined?
I know that he had crossed the center line and basically ran over my car, and I think hit me so hard that it was like a quarter mile away. Like the cars were a quarter mile apart when they stopped.
And the truck, you said, was carrying
He was pulling a tractor,
like what kind? Like
I think a John Deere.
a John Deere. All that
or farm
all that
tractor.
weight, yeah.
So
Yeah.
all that weight with the speed, because it's 30 mile per hour through there, I believe the speed limit, but that's
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
part
that
of
part's
town,
still still 30.
yeah.
And that's
It's
how
before you get to the 45.
But still, even if he was going the speed limit, which I don't remember what was determined, but
I don't know that.
yeah, but it's crossing over the line, hitting you.
Yeah, full on. I remember that it didn't look like he appeared to stop.
Did you ever get an opportunity to see him?
No. No, I was asked if I wanted to go to the court proceedings, and I did not.
Why was that?
I didn't see the benefit. The only thing I had hoped for was an apology. I would have been fine. But to date, I have not heard anything. I don't know if he was sorry. I know that he has now been released, and I hope that this was an impetus for change for him, and that he runs as far as he can from ever wanting to be under the influence again.
How long ago was the wreck till the time he's been released, or do you know that?
I don't. Every year on the anniversary, it kind of is a heavier day.
23rd of February.
And so I am so grateful that, and I know what could have happened and what I could have missed. And I am so grateful. My youngest daughter was graduating that year. I got to see her graduation.
Graduating from where?
High school. And so, and then my son getting married. And my oldest is engaged. And I would have missed all those things. Milestone birthdays and my family. And so ever since that accident, I have not taken life for granted. I have taken my bucket list and I am checking stuff off. I have traveled to Paris and Africa, and I was cast in South Jackson Goes Country. I wanted to do that one year, and
You've got to get me a picture of that.
okay. Now I did not sing because earlier comment, but I can act and I can talk,
Very good actor.
and I was one of the dancers, and so I got to do that. I'm sure there's more things, but I don't wait for someday anymore, and I really value time with my family and friends, and I just want to be there and help anybody who needs it right now. And just, I'm still here because somebody still needs me, and so I'm going to take advantage of that.
You actually recognize and see, and it didn't even hit me. If that day would have been the day,
Yeah,
you would have missed,
all those things.
and all those people would have missed
That's
that with you.
what makes me emotional, is the things I would have missed with the people that I love.
Do we have any grands yet?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
Well, grand puppies and kittens.
Yeah, well, hey, that
You
counts. That counts.
And, everything in their own time.
But I remember when me and you first had a talk, one of your biggest things that you said that you loved being able to do again, that you never realized, was putting an earring on. Can you tell me
Yes.
about that?
Yeah. So I still don't have full range of motion, but I can get to my ear and I can put my hair up in a ponytail or a messy bun, which is how it normally is. But it took a long time. It took a couple surgeries to get that way, and a lot of physical therapy. Andrea Turner is the bomb. She made me cry, and she was sorry, but
Who's Andrea Turner?
she was my physical therapist, and she super excellent lady, and she was very good about, this is what we need to do, this is why we need to do it. And I would try so hard not to cry, and she's like, you can cry, it's okay. Like, no, it's not.
But that's what you did. I'm here on this scene to comfort you. I'm the one that's going to be like, hey, they're right here. They're not going to leave you and all like that. You're the one that's telling me, I'll be right here when you get back. So it's like the roles are being reversed. We are feeling more bad about this than you are.
Yeah, that is true. 100% across the line.
I remember approaching you and asking, how do you want to proceed with this case? What was your thoughts?
Are you referring to, did I want to sue him?
If you wanted any type of action to be brought against him, whether criminal or civil or both.
Okay. Trying to remember. I know I did not want to do any civil action. I didn't think that there was any benefit to that. It wasn't going to make anything better. It's just in my heart to absolutely forgive him. I don't think he set out to do this on purpose. I think he should be held accountable for his actions. So that part is, without a doubt, what I wanted. But
you were hesitant. I'll add to this real quick, because I remember when I was talking to you about moving forward with criminal charges, you were hesitant there. Do you remember that hesitancy?
Yes, but I don't remember the whole conversation.
Okay. But I think when we go back, you did mention to us that he needed to be held accountable. Part of the criminal justice system is hopefully rehabilitation. Mm-hmm. So hopefully learning.
I think that's what I wanted.
I think that's what you mentioned to me. You wanted him to be held accountable, and you wanted him to
learn and not repeat.
And we can only hope that's what happened.
What I do.
What did you want to come out of this? And I'm even going to ask you, man to man, husband to husband, what was your first reaction?
Well, again, being a man of faith, you have to forgive people for being human.
Yeah.
And I don't know I don't know the man, never met him. Yes, I did feel that he needed to be held responsible for it. And from what I can remember, the state, I don't know, it was maybe the county was going to do that. We didn't really have to do a whole lot. The county was justice was going to have its way, and they seemed to be set for that. And for us, that was enough.
I've done so much wrong in my life. I've done some things that I am not proud of, and I have been forgiven. And it is only right to turn that around and give the forgiveness that I have been given.
Is there anything that you would like to say to this gentleman that you've not been able to do so? He may be watching, he may not be, I don't know.
Right.
But if he is watching, we're looking at this camera right here at him, is there anything you want to tell him?
I think most of it was covered by the letter that I wrote that I know that he read. And I just hope that not only does he know the impact of these choices, but that despite what happened, that he is forgiven and not to waste the second chance that he's given to live a good life and to maybe be there for somebody else in the same situation and to counsel them not to make that choice. And if he ever wants to reach out, go ahead.
I can't sit here and say I would have the same feelings, and I hope y'all don't look down on me for that.
No? Oh, no.
Or anybody, because I can imagine people screaming at their screens thinking, how can you? This was a major toll financially,
Yeah.
physically.
I still monthly have to be treated for my back because sometimes I can't walk still.
This was completely life-changing.
Completely life-changing. I mean, there are things that I used to be able to do that I can't do anymore. But I look at the things that I can do.
What is an example of some things that you can't do anymore?
The hiking and kayaking. So two of my favorite things. I don't have the balance anymore, and one leg is shorter than the other now. And sometimes, because I am a go until I can't go kind of person, I do too much, and then my back kind of locks up, and then I'm on my back for a week or two. And he has to help me get dressed and get me around. He gave me a cane for a Christmas present, and I'm like, well, this is the dumbest Christmas gift ever. But it's been very useful, and I've admitted to him since, thank you. Most of the time, or a good portion of the time, I'm fine. And because I take those preventative actions, chiropractor visits, osteopathic manipulation, therapeutic massage, but I have to keep that up or I can't function physically.
And through all of this, he's forgiven.
Yeah. Because I still get to do a lot of things that I could have missed out on. And I have a heightened awareness and appreciation that I didn't have.
Anything y'all would like to add to this conversation?
I would just like to thank everybody that was involved.
Yes. All the first
All
responders.
all the professionals.
Whenever we are driving and we pass somebody pulled over or an accident or a fire, we say a prayer every time as we're driving by. So you guys are covered.
Well, we appreciate it and we'll take it. I don't have nothing. I mean, I'm speechless. Absolutely.
You are awesome. Freaking amazing.
Well, I appreciate
Keep it up.
I appreciate it.
Tennessee Roll Call.